Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And I have one last playoff series to talk about. As last night, the Minnesota Timberwolves easily handled the Oklahoma City Thunder, thus earning the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Their reward, a first round matchup against the top seeded Denver Nuggets, has been a major disappointment of a season for the T-Wolves. Actually finished with 4 less wins than they did the previous season after trading quite the haul to acquire Rudy Gobert. The Stifle Tower seemed to take a while to get accustomed to the team. Karl Anthony Towns missed a lot of games this season with injury, but he is healthy. Of course, Gobert, we know what happened in the last regular season game of the year, punching Kyle Anderson, getting suspended that first playing game, but came back, and him and Karl Anthony Towns both had excellent performances yesterday, albeit against a Thunder team which doesn't exactly have that much size and are starting a second-round rookie, the other Jalen Williams, at center. But it was nice to see as they go into the playoffs, and I must say, I think the Timberwolves are definitely a more challenging matchup for the Nuggets than if it were the Thunder. Even though the T-Wolves have lost some of their depth, Naz Reid is out for the postseason, their best big man backup. And then Jaden McDaniels, the same game that Rudy Gobert punched Kyle Anderson. Well, he punched the wall and he fractured his hand. He is out for the postseason. Jaden McDaniels has been in the starting lineup all season and near 40% three-point shooter and a guy who potentially could at least get votes for all defensive team. So they will be without Reed and Anderson. The Nuggets, for the most part, have stayed healthy all season, and I think that's going to be a key as they go through this postseason because their starting five of Murray, Caldwell Pope, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and the Joker, Nikola Jokic, just has been so dominant, that starting five, where if one of them were to get hurt, could be a little bit of a problem, as Bruce Brown is kind of their only really reliable reserve, although they do got the ageless Jeff Green, still producing a little bit at the age of 36. Reggie Jackson has been so-so since being joining the Nuggets after they traded Bones Highland, and then Christian Braun, rookie, a decent three-point shooter, but I expect his minutes to dwindle a bit as the postseason happens. Zeke Naji has mostly been getting the reserve center minutes. Even with their two key pieces out for the Timberwolves, they still have some depth with. Yesterday they started Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So if he starts slow-mo, Kyle Anderson will be coming off the bench. He's a guy who had 3 triple-doubles towards the end of the season. Taurean Prince, I saw him kill my Knicks about, 3 weeks ago, draining threes. So they got those 2 key pieces off the bench. Jalen Noel, pretty good reserve as well. But after that, guys like Austin Rivers probably won't see much action as the rotations dwindle. The Timberwolves were able to win that playing game to get in. Had a net rating of exactly 0. Basically gave up the same amount of points as they scored during the season. They've been pretty average offensively, 23rd, 10th defensively. But again, a lot of that was without Karl Anthony Towns. But even when Towns played, they seem to struggle to find the correct fit with him alongside Rudy Gobert. Meanwhile, the Nuggets, of course, have one of the league's best offenses. Defense has been middle of the pack as they outscored opponents by 3.3 points per game this season. Really, the last 2 months, they've kind of been going through the motions. For a while, it seemed like they would have the top seed in the West and have played close to 500 basketball. Again, over the last 2 months, head coach Michael Malone has called them out a couple times, called them soft. Now that the games are much more meaningful, can they step on the throttle and perform like they did that first 3 or 4 months of the season? So again, I think the Timberwolves definitely could give them a little bit of trouble. The Timberwolves did give the Grizzlies some trouble. They had some epic fails during end of games that which led the Grizzlies to win the series in 6 games in the opening round last year. Anthony Edwards didn't shoot well at all in the 2 playing games, but he's a guy who could drop 30 at any night. But again, if the Nuggets starting lineup stays healthy, they won't even need much from the bench. You could still play Bruce Brown a good, 25 minutes a game. Jeff Green, 15. Reggie Jackson, maybe 10. And, just keep that starting lineup out there and keep your fingers crossed that they stay healthy, as they did much of the season. Jokic played 69 games, Murray 65, Caldwell Pope 76, Aaron Gordon 68, Michael Porter Jr. 62, and all of their games were starts. So I am going to predict the Denver Nuggets win the series in 6 games. I probably would have predicted a sweep if the Thunder had taken care of the Timberwolves. But, the Timberwolves could hang tight. I don't anticipate them winning the series, but again, they have a good amount of firepower. 3 guys who have been all-stars. So Mike Conley, just a wily veteran, has been in the league so long. Probably a better fit for the Timberwolves than D'Angelo Russell. The two teams split the 4 games in their regular season matchup, but they were totally different teams. Even though it was over like a 5-week period, they played each other 4 times, and even the last game still had D'Angelo Russell with the Timberwolves, so it's been a while since they played. Right now, DraftKings Sportsbook has the Nuggets at minus 500 to win the series, Timberwolves plus 370. But let me know in the comments, what do you expect to happen in this series between the top-seeded Denver Nuggets and the 8th-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves? Don't forget to subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend, and tell a friend to subscribe, like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.